Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to Empowered Aging. I'm your host, Dr. Elise Snipes. Today, we're talking about mindfulness for a purposeful life. A few videos ago, we talked about defining your rich and meaningful life. Now we're talking more about how to actually make that happen, how to make it come true. We're going to start first with mindlessness, though, and that's autopilot. That's what most of us are on most of the time. We're not really focused. Mindlessness means ignoring what is going on in the present and dwelling in the past or anxieties about the future, or just kind of numbing out and watching television and not focusing on anything. That's mindless behavior because we're not paying attention to what's going on around us or what's going on inside us. Mindfulness means being aware of the present moment. Who or what is in the room? How do you feel at this moment? Are you tired? Are you in pain? Are you angry? Are you happy? Are you cold? How do you feel at this moment? And what do you need at this moment? There's a lot of things you probably want, but noticing and being mindful of what you need. If you check in with yourself and you notice, you know what? I'm kind of thirsty right now. All right. So you need to get something to drink. As we age, little tip, we often have a much less sensitive thirst trigger. So a lot of people become more dehydrated more easily as they get older because they're just not thirsty or they don't notice that they're thirsty. So being mindful of your thirst, of your hunger, can be very helpful to improving your quality of life. Mindfulness means consistently turning your attention to the present, yourself in the present. How do I feel? What do I need? And the environment in the present. When you are mindlessly walking around the facility or your house or the park, you're not paying attention to things you could trip on. You're not paying attention to potential hazards, probably, because you're lost in your own thoughts or you're focused on one thing and not the bigger picture. Being attentive consistently to the environment around you is almost as important to being consistently mindful of your needs in the present, but especially if you have issues with balance or hearing or vision, being more mindful is important to help keep you safe. When you're mindful, you're focusing on what is in the moment and what can be addressed, not what might be, what could happen, what happened yesterday, but what is right now. You can't change the past and you can't know the future. So the only thing that you can actually use your energy to address is what is going on right now. If I am hungry and I don't pay attention to it and I don't do anything about it, then in 2 hours I may be hypoglycemic, get dizzy and fall. If I pay attention to it, then I'm going to change that path and I'm going to keep my blood sugar stable and I'm not going to have that fall risk. Mindfulness helps you check in with yourself before you react. Most anything that starts with a re means you're doing it again. Reacting is something we do on autopilot. We're not acting purposefully and with intention. We are knee-jerk reacting to whatever's going on. So mindfulness helps you check in with yourself before you react on autopilot so you can use your energy to act purposefully and in a way that moves you closer to your rich and meaningful life. I think most of us at some point in our life have had an experience where we've gotten stuck in the mud or stuck in gravel. And our first reaction to try to get out of it is often to gun it. Well, what happens when your car is stuck in the mud or in gravel and you gun it? You dig yourself deeper. You dig yourself deeper. That is not a purposeful action. If you stopped and thought for a second, what is it I need to do to get out of this? You'd realize you need to do something. If you've got rear wheel drive, for the back wheels to help them get traction to get out of that particular situation. And that's a much better use of your energy than just continuing to sit there and hit the gas and spin your wheels. Another option is to call somebody to tow you out. With mindfulness, you can focus on idea. It is another mnemonic. I love my mnemonics because it helps us remember things. I stands for identify how I feel right now. D stands for downregulate distress, paying attention to slowing your breathing and your heart rate. E stands for examine the facts in this context at this time. I call this FitCat. And A stands for act with purpose. So we'll go through that. Identify how I feel right now. Well, I feel kind of tired right now, but I'm not overly distressed. If I were, I would downregulate, because when we're in fight or flight, we're not thinking clearly. There's no argument about that. Even law enforcement and firefighters, when they start their job, when they start running code, they get this rush of adrenaline and they get tunnel vision because their thinking area of their brain disengages and they're headed toward that threat. They're headed to fix something that's a threat. And they have to learn how to downregulate and slow their breathing so they don't wreck on the way to whatever the incident is. So identify how I feel right now, downregulate distress, examine the facts in this context at this time. We have a lot of tornadoes around here. And I'm from Florida. We had hurricanes, but we didn't have tornadoes like we have in Tennessee. And when we start having bad weather, I start to get anxious. And I notice that anxiety and I recognize it and I tell myself, okay, what are the facts in this context at this time? Yeah, there's wind. Yeah, there's rain, but there's no tornado warnings. So score for that. And I know that I've got our tornado rescue kit in the basement. So in the event that we had to go down there, everything's prepared. So facts in this context at this time, I've done everything I can. And then acting with purpose. I know I've done everything I can. Therefore, continuing to fret about it is just increasing my inflammation, hard on my body, increasing my blood sugar, and it's not going to solve anything. Holding on to anxiety and anger doesn't solve anything. It just weighs you down. When you are more mindful, you can act with purpose and keep energy from being wasted on the things you cannot control and the things that do not matter in your rich and meaningful life. For more tips and tools, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and click the like button to help get the word out so other people can find videos like these.